Hello and welcome to the POWERBOOST meditation. Today, let us experiment with the theme multiply by zero. It's like there are two spaces in our life. One is a number space, we call it the quantitative space, or we can call it the role space. The role space where everything is visible, where everything is quantitative, everything can be measured. And the other is the soul space. The soul space is where we as spiritual beings, we exist naturally without a role. And so this soul space is what we call as a neutral space where we exist beyond the layers, the masks of the body. And so this soul space is also, it's like a zero space. And so just like in mathematics, however big a number may be, but if I multiply it with zero, then the result is zero. So in the same way, no matter how big a situation, a problem may appear to be in the number space, in the role space, when I look at it from the soul space, from the zero space, I multiply it, meaning I shift my perspective to the soul space and then see the same situation. It looks like it is nothing. And so in meditation, a very easy way to just let go of all the heaviness, all the past, any concerns, any worries, is just to, for a few moments, multiply everything in the role space by zero. And when I do that, nothing seems big. Nothing seems to be a challenge. Everything seems to be very nice. Everyone appears to be good. And there is zero problem in my mind. And when I multiply it by zero, when I look at it from the soul perspective, then there's zero problems, there's zero attachments, there's zero worries, there's zero concerns, as if I have gotten in touch with that part of the self which is beyond, which is free, which is eternal, which exists beyond the boundaries or the limitations of the quantitative, visible role space. So the more I practice this, moving into zero, multiplying everything by zero, it's like I experience a mind which is always noble. Zero attachments, zero desires means a mind that is noble, like a child, a mind that is innocent, that only knows how to give, that only knows how to serve. And then there is no effort in not expecting anything from anyone. But that's the natural state of mind. The soul doesn't expect anything from anyone because the soul is content in who the soul is. So let us experiment with this thought for a few moments to multiply by zero. So as we sit comfortably and relaxed, we just look at everything in the role space. The role space is the stage. The role space is where the characters interact with one another. The role space is where everything is visible, everything has a name, has a form. It's a world of temporary identities. And I realize that beyond this role space, which is of likes and dislikes, there is a neutral space where everything is good. And that space is the soul space. So I multiply the role space by 0 to get in touch with this pure being, the being that I am, the being of light, the being that doesn't need anything from the role space, a being that exists eternally beyond the limitations of the role space. I hold on to this 0 perspective. 0, the observer who sees the drama of life moving around him. The 0 who in a moment, in an instant, can just take all the scenes and multiply by 0. And so in a second, I'm able to hold on to this pure soul space, the space above and beyond the role space. In this realm, the realm of pure light, the realm where there's no name, there is no physical form. There are no temporary identities, but just this eternal presence of the being. We are all these tiny spiritual beings who live with our family and the divine, the source. In this soul space, experience the presence of the divine, who stays in the 0 always. The divine is always holding the 0 perspective. With respect to the drama of life, the divine has 0 attachments, has 0 desires. And because of this 0 perspective, the divine, the source, is able to be benevolent, is able to be noble always. I experience the presence of this most benevolent being, the being who knows me personally, the being to whom I belong eternally. I spend this time in the 0 space with the divine. There are no vibrations of any action, but just a pure presence. It's my thoughts are influenced by the presence of divine, and the frequency of my thoughts also goes to zero. In this moment, I absorb the presence of the divine. And I observe the story, the stage, the role space from beyond. I naturally hold on to this consciousness. In this realm, there is nothing that I need to do. I just am myself. Being zero, belonging to the zero, and seeing the drama of life as zero. I've multiplied everything by zero. This is my truth. To be zero and hold on to this zero experience. And as I move back into the role space, into the quantitative, visible story world, I realize that everything is a game. I can see everything as a means to enjoy. The mind has zero worries, zero desires. The mind is fully present in this moment. I've multiplied everything by zero. And because I've multiplied everything by zero, I can play my part, my role as a hero. A hero who naturally gives, naturally shares, cares, and inspires. I hold on to this experience as I get ready to play my next role in the role space. Om Shanti.